On this episode, I'm going to be taking an in-depth look at one of the most critical developments in the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas, the new ceasefire agreement designed to facilitate the release of the hostages, which are in motion now. The deal, mediated by Qatar and the United States, as well as Israel's intelligence chief, includes a phased release of hostages in exchange for Palestinian prisoners held in Israel. Now, on the surface, it appears to be a step forward, but there's many layers to unpack here, both humanitarian as well as strategic. And as someone who comes from the special operations and counterterrorism space within the Israeli framework, and I've got a lot of experience dealing with that region, I want to explore not only what the deal means for the hostages and their families, but the broader implications for the region's security and this ongoing conflict. So let's start with the details of the agreement. First, female civilian hostages will be released first. The next piece are the elderly hostages and those in critical medical condition. And then finally, the female soldiers that were taken from that forward operating intelligence base, Nama Levy, Liri Albag, Karina Ariev, Agam Berger, and Daniela Gilboa. And in exchange, Israel released Palestinian terrorist prisoners, including women and minors. The ceasefire is set to last 42 days, during which humanitarian aid will also be increased in Gaza. The deal is undoubtedly a relief for the families of the hostages. We can all see that. And for them, it's not about politics, it's about bringing home their loved ones who've been in captivity for over 400 days. But from the security perspective, the agreement comes with some very significant risks. In history, in the counter-terror world, has shown that terror groups like Hamas often use these ceasefires, just like we saw at the beginning of the war, to regroup and rearm. And this makes the decision to agree to such terms a really delicate balance between the immediate humanitarian needs and that long-term security. Now, I want to talk about the hostages a little bit more. Behind the numbers and headlines are real people whose lives have been upended. It's very important to remember. We've got immediate hostages here, which we can get back. The Bibas children, the two redheaded kids, the two young boys taken during the October 7th attack, have become one of the symbols of this entire terror ordeal. Their parents were killed, and they've been held in Gaza under who knows what conditions. It's just hard to imagine. Then there were the female soldiers who were captured while serving their country. And these women, like so many others, were thrust into this unimaginable situation, and their return would be a very significant moment in national relief for Israelis. The hostage situations like this carry an enormous emotional toll. Not just on the individuals and their families, but on the entire nation of Israel. I can tell you that Israel is very wounded from all this, and Israel has a long-standing commitment to bringing its people home no matter what the cost, and this deal reflects that value, I believe, very intently. However, it also raises questions of what price is too high. So this is a tricky one, but welcome to the Middle East. You know, it's never black and white. And so from a tactical perspective, the ceasefire presents both opportunities and challenges, in my opinion. And on one hand, it allows for the release of the hostages and temporary de-escalation of that violence. And then, you guys a fan of Israeli special operations? Were you blown away by that incredible pager operation? Grab yourself a signed copy of my best-selling memoir, Brotherhood of Warriors. Hit the link down in the description. I've got a limited number of signed copies to go out, and learn about how we train in Israel and about my time as one of the first Americans to serve in one of Israel's top special operations unit, the Elite Mistaravim. This is the unit that goes undercover, dresses as Arabs to stop terrorists dead in their tracks. Hit the link down in the description and learn about Israeli special operations through an American optic. Hit the link in the description and grab yourself a signed copy of Brotherhood of Warriors. On the other, It provides Hamas with the time to regroup and rebuild and potentially strengthen their positions and continue up what I believe is going to be a pretty systemic re-recruitment process among the males who can fight. And this isn't a political risk here. This is something I've seen before. Ceasefires are often used by Hamas to rearm. They've done this throughout the conflict. So it's crucial for Israel to remain tough during this period and continue to gather intelligence for future operations and use whatever they can during this exchange to get whatever information they can. And the challenge here is balancing that need to save lives and that long-term goal, obviously, of ensuring that stability in the region that Israel's had with that power that they've created. So there's no easy answers on this one. And for me, the deal also raises broader questions about the nature of the conflict and really the role of international mediation. The release of the hostages are undoubtedly a very significant outcome that's releasing a lot of pressure. The underlying issue for me driving the conflict still remains unresolved, which is that Hamas continues to pose a significant threat to Israel. And the group's actions during and after the ceasefire are going to shape in the next phase of this conflict. And so for Israel, the ceasefire, this isn't really an end. It's just another pause. And during this time, that focus needs to remain on ensuring that the advantage gained by Hamas is countered with a ton of planning on the Israeli side so that they can be prepared. Remember, Hamas is what got us into this problem in the first place. They're a terror group. And the international community also has a role to play here. Support for the humanitarian efforts must be paired with accountability for groups that exploit these pauses to further their agenda. There's been a ton of that garbage going on. And true progress will only come when security and humanitarian concerns are addressed simultaneously. Enough with the hypocrisy. And so as I wrap this one up, it's important to reflect on the complexity again of the situation and of the Middle East. And for the families of the hostages, the deal obviously represents hope and relief. For Israel, this is a very calculated step to save lives while navigating the risks, giving its adversaries, this terrorist group, a chance to regroup. So there's no easy answers here with this one, but I can tell you one thing is for certain. Israel's commitment to the Israeli people remains unwavering. Bibi's with the Israeli people. The fight against terrorism and the pursuit of peace are not mutually exclusive. They're very intertwined in the Middle East. I want to thank you guys for watching this one. If you guys enjoyed this analysis and you want to keep this channel moving strong, do me a favor, subscribe, share the episode, and help continue bringing clarity to these complex issues. And let's keep fighting that truth machine together. Do me a favor, hit the link down in the description and help support the show by becoming a Season 1 sponsor. You can grab yourself a mini sponsorship package. They start at $25. Hit the link down below and join my Season 1 team and join the mission to keep fighting that garbage anti-Israel misinformation. I'm going to come back to this one. I'm Aaron Cohen. You're watching The Aaron Cohen Show, and I'll be back with you guys soon.